joining us. We are doing another Google Hangout here with one of our finalists for the Small Business Tournament of Veteran Champions. I'm Kim Morton, and I work on the communications team with Hiring Our Heroes. HOH and Spike TV, we're hosting a competition to find the most veteran-friendly small business in America. The winner of the competition will receive a custom-made commercial that will be produced by Spike TV, and it will air on Spike TV. They'll also get an all-expense-paid trip for two to the Guys' Choice Awards, which will be in LA in June, where they will be recognized as America's most veteran-friendly small business. So today I am joined by Lacey Starling. She is from Legion Logistics out in Cincinnati. And Lacey, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and your company?
Sure. I'm Lacey. I'm the president of Legion Logistics. We are a 3.5, almost 4-year-old company here in Cincinnati. We are a third-party logistics provider, which is a fancy way of saying when companies need freight moved, they call us and we find trucking companies to move their freight for them. So we serve as the middleman. We have 26 employees, 7 of whom are veterans, 2 are service disabled. We have another gentleman on staff who's active National Guard. He's actually away at his service week right now, so we're missing him. And we're super excited to be included in the Tournament of Veteran Champions. This is very exciting for us.
Great. We are excited to have you. And I'm really excited to hear that you guys have veterans on your staff, including service disabled veterans. Can you tell me about how you encourage veterans to apply for jobs, where you look for them, and where they can find you?
Absolutely. One of our owners, actually, Tourney is a service disabled veteran himself. And then the gentleman who's in charge of all of our recruiting for our human resources department is also a service disabled veteran with 20 years of service in the Army. So we know where to look, and our connections within the veterans community are very strong. And we also encourage all veterans to apply, whether they think that their resume applies to our field or not, because we're happy to help veterans with their resumes, with their interview skills, whatever it takes to do a little bit of mentoring and leadership in that community. And we have a spot on our website, legion-logistics.com, where you can submit your resume and apply. There's no long application process. You just upload a resume and we check it out and get back to you.
Great. And it looks like, it looks like a kind of big open space there. And I noticed you talked before about a no-door policy. What is the no-door policy at Legion?
Well, we don't have any offices. It's actually hard for me to find a space to tuck myself away to do something like this, because Tony and I really like to make ourselves accessible to our employees. Tony sits on the sales floor with all the other salespeople. I sit in a pod with my marketing team right by my human resources team. So we don't have any fancy desks. There's no way to tell when you come in the office who the owners are, because we want to be right out there in the middle so we can communicate with our employees, and also they can communicate freely with us. And also it keeps us in a better understanding of what's going on with the company itself.
That's great. That transparency, that openness is really important to a lot of people in the workplace that they're looking for. I'm just wondering, Lacey, if you can tell me about what are some of the skills that you see veterans really bringing to the table from their military service? What are some things that translate well into working at Legion Logistics?
Well, our job can be high-paced and sometimes high-stress, and I don't think there's anybody better at dealing with stress than veterans. When I sit across the table and I'm interviewing somebody and they tell me the most stressful day of their life was when they had 3 finals in one day, and then I sit across the table from somebody else and they say, when I had to lead my men out of a firefight, I'm going to go with the guy in the firefight every time. And so it's that stress resistance, it's that ability to think on your feet, and then the loyalty and dedication. The work ethic among veterans is so much stronger than what you see in the general population, and the bonding that occurs on the floor, I always say it's just a beautiful thing to see our veterans come out of the service, find a place here at Legion and make it their home. A lot of veterans who separate from the service have a hard time finding that camaraderie in the civilian world, and having so many veterans here in an environment that fosters that, it really allows them to find that second home again.
That's great. And, I noticed your name, Legion Logistics. I'm assuming that you guys have a lot of ties, like you said, in the military community. What are some ways that you're involved, that Legion Logistics is involved in, the military community and your community at large in Cincinnati?
Sure. Well, we are very service-oriented here at Legion. we reached out to our employees at the beginning of 2013 and said, okay, where are the areas where you want to donate time and money? And they chose 2 areas, veterans and children. So where veterans are concerned, we've always donated $1 for every load we move to the Wounded Warrior Project. So last year that came out to over $10,000 that we donated. This year we're on track to donate about $25,000. All of our employees can wear jeans on Fridays if they donate $5 to Wounded Warrior. And then this month, the month of May, we're actually doing a special donation to one of our service members here. One of his friends was injured in an IED explosion in Afghanistan last month. So we're taking all the money that we would send out and sending it directly to him. He's at the Burn Center in San Antonio. So we're getting daily updates on his progress, and all the money that we raise is going directly to him, which is great. We're sponsoring a group of soldiers who just came back from Afghanistan to come up here and have a fun Memorial Day weekend along with the city of Florence here in Kentucky. We also have donated to our local VFW Good Guys Fund. And as far as children are concerned, we've done a great deal of work within a community in sponsoring the Ronald McDonald Children's Home, a home for abused young women, and also a community center for children with special needs. So it's just about putting your money where your mouth is. And if you say that you support veterans initiatives, or you say you support children's initiatives, just really giving of what we have to make their lives better.
That's great. That is great to hear, especially those Memorial Day plans, bringing out a whole unit. That is wonderful, and I think they'll really enjoy that. So, you know, you guys have been in business for, what, 4 years, you said? Almost 4 years?
Almost 4 years.
Congratulations. What is the thing, I guess, that you're most proud of from the past 4 years?
Well, when we first started the business, it was in the basement of my home. And so for the first 2.5 years, it was this little business just sort of chugging along in the basement. And last year, about this time, we moved into their office space that we're in now, and things have just exploded. Our employees are selling more. I think the biggest accomplishment that I always see when I look out on the floor is the men and women who work for us, especially those who are in the sales capacity, the difference that they're making in the lives of their families with the money that they earn, and the fact that Legion Logistics employs 26 people, and without this company, those folks wouldn't be working. And so when you're coming out of a recession, when you have so many men and women coming back home from overseas and looking for work, when you can provide that foundation for them and their families, it's an incredibly gratifying experience to see the success of your company translating into the success for individuals and for the local community. It's a really wonderful thing.
That is wonderful. And it's wonderful just to see how involved you guys are, not just in you know, employing veterans, but in helping them and their families, I guess, get back on their feet. So, you know, this is a competition, though, and so I want to give you a chance to say, you know, you were chosen, your company was chosen one of 8 out of really competitive entries from coast to coast. We had people, you know, from east to west that were sending in applications, but you were chosen. Why should someone watching vote for your company? What sets you apart?
Well, I think that our commitment to recruiting veterans is incredibly deep because the person in charge of recruiting our workers is a veteran himself and was an Army recruiter for years when he was in the service. And so we have employed somebody in that role specifically to reach out to the veterans community and to make sure that we're not overlooking anybody, to have somebody in place who understands how to translate military service into the civilian world, which can be a very difficult thing. He can look at a resume and know immediately by their MOS what their skill set is, how they can apply that here, and it's really incredible to watch that process happen, because someone who doesn't have that kind of experience could easily overlook a qualified candidate. So I think just that deep, integral, you know, commitment that we have to recruiting veterans and to creating a workspace here that is veteran friendly and understanding of their special, you know, requirements and concerns that makes us the most veteran friendly small business in America.
Well, one last question. I'm just curious, where do you see the future going for Legion Logistics?
Well, we have a 10-year plan in place where we want to be a $100 million company by 2020, and we're well on our way to accomplish that. And we want
Okay.
to have, yes, and we'd like to have 250 employees at that time, and we want to maintain that greater than 25% of our workforce are veterans. So, employing that many more veterans every year. So just on that rocket ship of growth that we're headed on, toward being extremely successful.
That is great. Veterans that are watching, listen to them. Legion Logistics, they are a growing small business. So really, I want to thank you guys for doing this hangout with us, and thank you for all the work that you're doing for veterans and for military families. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure that they do. I did want to encourage everyone watching to please go and cast your vote at VetChampsTourney.com. That's VetChampsTourney.com. Go and cast your vote for the most veteran-friendly small business in America, and come back and join us on May 17th, and we'll see who the final 4 are. Thank you again, Lacey, and good luck to you and Legion Logistics.
Thank you.